Come on, we're talking about a team that can win 70 games, and that team's not going to have the MVP. SGA has an edge over Nikola Jokic. He just does.
So if these numbers hold, though, it means a guy that is essentially averaging a 30-point triple-double here is top 3 in NBA in terms of points, rebounds, assists, and steals. He had a 30-20-20 game a couple of weeks ago.
Fabulous.
He won't win MVP. But have we ever seen an MVP race between these two caliber of players? Not the closeness, but the caliber of players.
Probably. I mean, we're talking about a long time if we go back to Querim being involved in some of these things, Magic and Bird. Yeah, we have. But what's important here to me is that distinction that we're trying to draw, Malik. It's a worthy conversation. The numbers that Jokic has put up, they're like the modern-day Wilt numbers where guys do different things at different times. But when you win 70, what are you going to value more? I have a vote. Winning 70, if they do that, I don't want to say it makes it automatic, but it's pretty close. Winning 70 games or even flirting with it, I'm going to reward that perk over, even if narrowly, I do the averaging a triple-double. And nobody's done it. Look, Wilt led all 3 of those things, but never at one time.
Right.
Jokic is a threat. You know, the triple crown is what it is. It's amazing, but I'm not going to reward that, Malika, more than a guy flirting with 70 wins.
I have no issue at all with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander being the MVP this season. I do wonder if history will look back and say Jokic should have another one. We got to get Steph Curry, right?
You definitely got to hit the light-skinned brother with the green
Because Nikola Jokic is not the only one to make history last night. Steph, he knocked down 12 triples, an NBA record 4th time in his career he's done that. He lit up the Grizzlies for 52 points, did it all, became just the 3rd player with 50, 10, 5 assists, 5 steals in a game since steals became official in the mid-1970s when Wilbon was in college. The Warriors are now 18-2 with Steph and Jimmy Butler in the lineup. He made 12 threes for the 4th time in his career, which passed Klay Thompson for the most in NBA history.
That's insane.
It's just absolutely ridiculous here, Michael Wilbon. So if we're talking big picture, did Steph's performance get you thinking about a 5th ring, something else?
You know what? He and Jimmy Butler, the whole run and whatever they are together in the lineup, 18-2, I've lost track, 17, so whatever it is.
This current lineup that they're rolling with, the starting 5, 12-0.
12-0. Okay.
Current lineup.
So it's got me thinking about at least conference finals. And one bigger than that was Steph Curry. He's not going to be in the MVP discussion this year. How about the all-time discussion? Steph Curry, my top 10 ever, Perk. And I don't know who I would have to take out of it. I'm not even sure. Steph Curry has already, long ago, changed basketball.
Forever.
He invented something. He, changed it forever or modernized it, popularized it in a way that was unthinkable. And so Steph Curry, for that contribution, not to mention all the other achievements, the championships, and he's still in the running for another, Malika, as you suggested. Steph Curry, what he and Joker did last night back-to-back, it's one of the great regular season nights in NBA history to me.
That was a great lesson. I love hearing Wilbon speak when he gets into his bag like that, straight gospel. I went to church, First Street Baptist Church on that when he did. But look, I will say this. Thank you, Adam Silver. The addition of the play-in tournament allowed us to witness those great games last night because they were meaningful games. And I appreciate it. I appreciate Jokic. I appreciate Steph. And you're right, Steph is in that conversation already for his top 10 greatest of all time.
The appetizer, right, the main course last night, equally delicious.
So good to always have Michael Wilbon on the program as he gets us ready for NBA Countdown at 6:30. So the Knicks are pretty much locked into the 3rd seed there in the East, but they're a combined 0-5, Michael Wilbon, against the Celtics and Cavaliers this season. So what's the ceiling for this team once Jalen Brunson is back from injury?
Well, it depends if you're a Knicks fan or not, Kevin, because they're 8-5. If you're looking for the sort of silver lining about this season, you mentioned 0-5 against the best teams in the league. 8-5 without Jalen Brunson. I think going into a period of absence without him, you'd say, oh, they would take 3 games above 500, locked in pretty much at that number 3 spot. The defense has gone from middle of the pack most of the season to top 5 once Mitchell Robinson has been back in there during that stretch. And, you know, Anunoby and Bridges have been so good offensively But you got to wonder, is there a way to sort of keep them at that level once Brunson comes back and the ball's in his hands? So we got a whole lot of questions, and I don't know that we have a lot of answers about the New York Knicks going into this game tonight, for which the result might not be as important as continuing to play and find something as we get so close, less than 2 weeks from the play-in, Kevin. So we're not far from the playoffs either, obviously.
Yeah, and by the way, the Cavs have hit a wall of late. We're going to talk to Doris Burke later in the program about Cleveland. The Knicks will likely face either Giannis and the Bucks or the Pistons in the first round. Detroit playing their second game here of our doubleheader tonight, taking on the Thunder. MVP favorite Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leads the league in scoring, nearly 33 points per game while 52% shooting from the field. OKC riding a 10-game winning streak. They got an outside shot at 70 wins. And a look at the potential path for the Thunder to the NBA Finals, going through both LA teams before taking on the Nuggets in the conference finals. OKC 5-0 against the Clippers and the Lakers this season. The Thunder split the season series with Denver, but one thing that stands out with those three teams I mentioned, experience. So, Michael, what's your confidence level in SGA and the Thunder to get out of the West and get to the NBA Finals?
As high as it can be, Kevin, for a team that has not been crushed in the postseason more than once. They had last season a disappointing series, a loss against Dallas that would have gotten them the conference finals, okay. But just the history of the NBA is littered with even the greatest players ever. I mean, Kobe, Michael, LeBron is sort of, whatever order you want to take them. They had crushing playoff defeats. OKC does not have that. Listen, I have no doubt about them in sort of all of the categories that you need to excel, particularly all of them on the defensive side. They've got size, they've got depth. They can play you any number of ways. I mean, the variation with which they can attack a game or an opponent or a series is incredible. It's just that thing. Have they been disappointed enough? Have they been crushed? Do they need to crusade, and what do they need to come back from? Maybe they don't need it. Maybe they'll be one of those rare teams that just puts together a 68, 67 game win season. Not many put together 70.
Yeah.
Because teams that win 67, 68 games, Kevin, they usually fulfill their seeding. I know the Dirk Dallas Mavericks one year didn't, but that's about the only time in NBA history that teams that look as good in the regular season as OKC looks now don't get there, at least get there. So there's nothing to point to and say, aha, they're lacking this. What they're lacking, if anything, is the experience of having to deal with something difficult in the postseason.
By the way, I can't wait to see what SGA does tonight after what we saw from Jokic last night. 60-plus, 10-10 across the board. Cannot wait for this doubleheader. Much more of Michael Wilbon, bottom of the hour on NBA.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn câu tựa nhé. Tựa hôm nay của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là ví tiền. Mọi người, hôm nay tựa của mình là cây mát. Bây giờ mình sẽ bắt đầu nhé. Đăng ơi. Mình thấy đầu tiên là một tím nha. Đau quá. Em nghe đăng nó ị rồi. Mọi người ơi, một cam nha. Tiếp đến đầu một miếng. Còn nếu mà một tí giác thì một xanh đi. Còn lấy lỗ để biết thôi. Kiểu nào là đi nhỉ? Nói gọi chẳng. Nói đi. Em không biết đến này hả? Biết đây cho em ra. Biết bữa đầu. Mọi người ăn màu xanh nha. À, lấy lửa rồi. Nó điêu à? Này bỏ này. Như vậy. À, mẹ mình không phải. Này. Xem bao rồi, trích bao.
Thì nó không giảm bóng được truyền được quần nó.
Nó không giảm bóng. Các bạn đây nha. Mọi người thì tôi có tự gì nha. Màu đỏ đầu tiên nha.